to bed. I just wanted to show you this. I've been actually printing a lot of images from this tiny little camera, and you guys know I've done a lot of videos about the Leica D Lux A, but this camera continues to amaze me. And I've been putting this camera through so many situations, but a couple of months ago, while I was in New York, I decided to actually go and shoot with this camera at night, just using the bare light of the night. And I'm going to talk about this print that I have right here in front of me. So just go here on this mess of a table. We'll talk a little bit about the printer that I use to print. So first of all, for starters, this the size of this sheet is actually 17 by 20, and I'm using L4 paper. This is the paper that I use. There you go. I'm sorry, 17 by 22. So I like this paper because it has some grain, so it makes the image really, really pop. And it's also good if you're going to be hanging this image, in a place with some kind of like harsh light sources. Sometimes you get a lot of reflection, and this texture tends to do a pretty good job. As you can see right now, it diffuses, the light source on the paper. So what I want to do is I want to show you a close-up of the details that you can get from this image. And I actually cropped this image a little bit just to kind of like frame in the subject right in the center, which is what I wanted to do. Now, I want to show you the details. I'm going to zoom in. I'm doing this with a phone right now, but I want you to actually take a look at a lot of the details. Well, this phone cannot actually go that close, but I'll just go up to kind of like this distance, which I think is what the phone allows me to do as minimum focusing distance. But look at the details of this image. And once again, in comparison, here is the camera. So, I mean, this is amazing. And again, I used only the light that was available that night. And the dynamic range of this camera, I don't know about numbers, can't tell you a number, but it has great recoverability in the shadows. Now, the one thing that I did on this photo, as you guys see, this was completely underexposed in this area. I recovered a lot of the shadows there, had a little bit of grain, but with a new Lightroom denoiser, you get an amazing image without, making the image look funky or anything like that. But just want to show you the details are so incredible. Now I want to show you another image that I actually printed. I took this one right here, and one thing that's remarkable is the depth of field. This was at a gallery here in Miami. Took a picture, this man, and the detail is just bananas on this little camera. And I think this camera shines when you print, because when I actually look at the images on the camera, of course, we tend to zoom in. That's not how you look at a picture. And on the camera, the screen doesn't give you a true representation of the DNG. You are looking at a JPEG on the camera. You're not looking at a DNG. So when you print these images, you really tell the beauty of this little tiny camera. And once again, let that sink in, guys. This is a camera that fits in the palm of my hand, which has an equivalent of 24 to 75 millimeter. And it is a micro four thirds. It is bigger than 1-inch sensor below APS-C. And I think it's perfect because that allows the camera to have a decent sensor with a long range in this small form factor. And I used other cameras from Sony before, like the RX1R, the RX100, I'm sorry, line, which is also amazing. That one has a 1-inch sensor, produces an amazing image. It has more megapixel. I think those have 24 megapixel, whereas this one has a smaller sensor, and it has a 17 megapixel resolution. But I just feel that I get better dynamic range from the Deluxe. I guess, because the pixels are smaller, that also gives, because the pixels are larger, that gives the camera better low light capability. Now the printer that I'm using for that person that just asked is this one right here, is the Epson P900. and I'm actually getting now this one prints 20, let me see, this one prints, I believe is 17 on the widest side, but I just got a new one, which is another Epson that prints 22 by infinite. It can print raw. So this is the one I use, and this is gonna be more than enough, guys. The quality of these prints are incredible. Look at that. Of course, I color graded this picture, but I'm not interested in using the camera to capture reality. I use the camera to create, and that also entails doing some work in post-production. So that's really good. Now going back to this one right here. Pizzacology. The paper that I use is this one right here. I use several papers, but the one that you see right now is this one. It's the Ilford Gallery, and that's the size, and it's called the Smooth Pearl. I like this paper because it diffuses light sources when the light hits it, and I noticed that with some papers, if it's too matte, it's going to kind of like kill the colors. This paper basically gives you exactly what you see on the screen, and I don't choose any profile. I let the computer and the printer talk to each other and handle whatever they want to handle just to give me the best image quality, and it does. So let me actually put it here. So I have these lights right above, and they're being a little bit of a pain right now. That's how you're supposed to look at this. Hold on, just don't want to touch the paper. Don't have gloves. But take a look at that. It's actually really, really big. Really, really nice. Let me actually show you here. Let me just put it here. Let me see, I can pop it here. Sorry guys, I'm doing this with a phone and trying to get fancy and show you in reference with the camera right there. That's what you see. It's pretty large. And I usually put some frames that have more white all around, and makes it pop even more. But look at that. And you guys know that I print black and white. I shoot black and white mainly, but I've been just taking color photos with this little camera. And the reason being is because sometimes I'm either with a monochrome or shooting with any of the M's in black and white. And then I'm like, you know what, let me just put all the color shots in one camera. And it happens that a lot of the time my favorite shots of a walk or a weekend or a vacation came from this camera. And this is very, very often that I don't know what's going on with this camera. Maybe because of the field view, right? You got 24-75, kind of like you can make the camera become the lens that you want the camera to have. And I shoot mainly prime lenses. 35 for the most part is what's on my cameras. But this one right here, I had the M11 when I shot this photo, and I knew the bus was there. There was traffic coming in. I see the light reflecting right there in the water, and I knew I wanted to be at 24 millimeters. So I turned the camera on, 24 millimeter, boom. Wanted to get this perspective. Like I mentioned before, I even cropped this image a little bit, but pretty remarkable. And before I finish this video, let me tell you a little bit how I configure my camera. So you guys, if you're interested in knowing what I do here, see, as you see right now, I have the JPEG emulation. Last time I used this camera was in the profile. So I set up different profiles. So I go right here, and I have profile 2 is I believe it's my black and white. And yeah, there you go. And profile 1 is my color. It's my color thing. My color profile. There you go. And the focus mode that I use for this camera is going to be, not program mode. The focus mode that I'm in is going to be the, what mode is this? Oh, there you go. Hold on a second. Okay, no auto mode. Hold on a second. I always get into that loop. I'm a little bit lost there. Let me just go back again. Let's go here. Why kind of like, it's like, manual mode. Let me see, how do I, oh, my daughter gets the camera, that threw me off. Sorry guys, out of focus. Yeah, so this one you can use this camera also, the camera you can use also in manual focus. So this is the focus mode that I use, is the field mode right there. And pretty much with that I do everything. You know, this one you can make it a little bit larger and longer by just tapping and holding. So you know, if you need to do a portrait, I like to make it smaller, and if I want a little bit more upper region, you know, you can make it very, very big. So that's about it. Then I shoot JPEGs, I shoot DNGs, and you know, my shutter speed for the most part is going to be during the day automatic. At night, of course, I like to regain control of the shutter speed, and I think the lowest that I would let this rock at night, maybe at 125th of a second. And you know, control the shutter speed, because you know, a lot of people complain about getting images blurry. Well, I mean, if you're going to be shooting in low light and you're going to be in auto mode, the camera's going to choose a very low shutter speed. That is the reason why I recommend that the first thing you do in this camera is set up your auto ISO. So I have the minimum ISO. I mean, I can let it rock all the way, and you know, you can set your shutter speed. I don't know, someone touched my camera because this was configured. And maybe, you know, I like to be at 250 of a second just from the get-go, and then save this to a profile, because, yeah, when my little one touches the camera, she presses every button. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna manage profile save, and I'm going to save in profile number 1, which is where I have my color. So now all the settings are going to be recorded there. Sorry, that was the black and white, my bad. But you could do the same thing if I would want to do this, and user profile, go manage. Once you do all the, you know, all the, sorry guys, manage, save, and I'm going to say in profile number 2, boom. And now I go to profile number 2. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing something wrong here, but you get the gesture here. Let's do it again since I'm here. So what I need to do now is change the JPEG mode, JPEG setting, style. There you go. If I want to be my color, that's gonna be my color. There you go. And now I go to user profile, boom, and go to manage, save, and I'm going to say this as profile number 1. Let's turn it into 2. All right, so number 2 is going to be my color. So now I have profile number 2 as my color, and profile number 1 I have it as my black and white, as you can see. So I do that, you know, just to separate and being able to switch really quick and bring in all the settings that I like to use for either black and white or color. But anyway, so this is a video about me printing from this little camera, and it just happened that a lot of the prints that I've been doing lately come from this little camera. Leica D Lux. May do another video talking more in depth about printing and, you know, the methods that I use and how I capture images with this camera and print them in another video. So any comments?